Leathur Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. If you'd like to see my latest Empties Christmas edition, stay tuned. That was Cassie. She really doesn't like to be picked up. She is such a grumbly kitty. Oh, what do you think of my set? See, I turned the kitchen into a nice little Christmas decoration set. And one of my mother's friends dropped off some presents. I was going to get another branch for the tree. I was going to get something that was nice and had like a tail on it. I took all the needles off. I was going to stick it there and have it before I went on video, but didn't happen. So let's get to it. First of all, I want to say something about the brand LA Colors. And yes, even though these are full, I'm going to consider them empties because I really hate it when you buy an eyeshadow and you think, and it's a kind of place where you can't do testers and you have no way of swatching it. And you think it looks a certain way because it has a certain finish on it. Now, I'm going to show you. These are both the same palette. The only difference is the batch number is different. So actually the one color is different, but I'm going to show you something. This is a pet peeve of mine when it comes to, eyeshadow. And there's like one other company, a no-name company that I saw this. You buy a product because you think it has this nice shiny finish on it, which would be the one on your left. And then once you actually hit it with the brush or applicator, you get this really dull, boring, neutral, not bright and shiny color that you thought that you were buying in the store. This really pisses me off, and this doesn't happen with mattes. This happens with frosts. Now, I ended up buying, this is the Iris palette, and I bought it at the Dollar Tree, so okay, I spent $1, but still, I thought I was getting something really glamorous and flashy and jewel tone colors, and I was so disappointed, and I got the same thing, spent another $1 in tax. However, the last one here is a shade of blue, and I'm not even a blue fanatic, but I really liked it as it is with the shiny version. I thought that was really beautiful, and it was a color that I knew I did not have in any of my other palettes. So anyway, I'm going to be calling them or writing them and complaining because I keep my packaging. That's one of the things about us YouTubers. Got to keep packaging. Okay, on to the empties. I've got a lot of, these are toiletries, these are skincare, these are a little bit of makeup. Now, and hair care also. Now, as far as hair care goes, this is my very first thing of coconut oil. This is organic. I got this at an Indian store, a store that I don't patronize anymore because some of the nature of their other merchandise I'm philosophically opposed to, so I don't go in there anymore. They sell halal things, and I don't go there. Okay, now these are not in any order. Some of them are disappointments, some of them are good. Now this is a fragrance, a body wash, and it's actually for men. It's by Axe, and the fragrance is called Excite. I discovered this quite by accident about 3 years ago when my roommate, whereas he could be a walking advertisement for Axe, and he has every scent imaginable, I suppose, and I discovered, it was in the shower, and I discovered I liked it, and I actually had deodorant from them at one time. And even though I really cannot stand men's fragrances, I kind of like this. It's almost kind of chocolatey. It's interesting. It's really, I like it. And this I would definitely get again by Axe. I never think I would be advocating this company. Boy, you know how some people, they look at the advertising, they show the guy with a girl on the left and a girl on the right, and they really believe that. Now, all right, this is something I was disappointed in. By the company So Fresh, So Clean, and these are the Cool Cucumber Cleansing Wipes. These never had much moisture to them. They were totally ineffective to use to wash your makeup off. I will show you what they look like. The color is cool. Don't have much moisture at all. Even though I always keep the thing closed, and I store things upside down to keep the moisture in the product. They were never moist. The only thing I use them for now is if I think I'm sweaty and my deodorant has failed, to wipe under my armpits. But even then, there's very little moisture, and that just threw in the trash. And I made that basket. Something that I am really sorry to see go is my Peter Thomas Roth Retinol Fusion PM. This was a year's worth of skincare I got at QVC. It was one of today's special values. I spent $117 if you count the tax and everything. and it lasted me a little over a year. This is a retinol that if you already have a little bit of experience with it, there was no burning, no irritation. I wore it every 12 hours. I did morning and night. They usually say only do it at night. I so far can handle it twice a day, but I don't suggest most of you do unless you really think you know what you're doing. But I don't know that I would purchase this again just because I've discovered a company called The Ordinary, and also I'm going to be getting Real Retin-A very shortly. But for an entry level, this is definitely better than the drugstore crap you're going to get, but it's not cheap. But it's better to get it this way because usually it's about between $60 and $80 an ounce. And as you can see, this was a 6.7 ounce bottle for $117. So this is a way better deal. And the good thing about that company is that the packaging was correct, because with retinols of any kind, you have to have light and air free packaging. Now, this is something I got at a beauty supply place. I was looking for a moisturizer, and this was actually in a clearance rack, and I got the only 3 they had, and I still have 2 left. This is totally empty. But this is something, it doesn't have anything that will react with any of your high-performance skincare. So if you're looking for a thin, light, watery, but not totally watery moisturizer that you can put on top of your special serums and special things, I recommend it. It's nice. And I don't know that I would get it again because I only paid $2 for it, and I'm sure it doesn't sell for that cheap. And I'm actually preferring to cocktail my different fancy skincare that I just bought. But okay, this is a hairspray that's not to fix your hair, but to give it some shine. It's called Color Endurance by Joko under their Color Care line. Again, I got this. I discovered it because I found it on clearance. Be careful not to use too much with this. Your hair will get stringy and greasy real easy. Same thing with the coconut oil, especially if you're like me and you don't wash your hair too much, because then you'll have to lather so many times you will lift your color out of your hair. So yeah, be careful with any of those hair oils. And on the subject, this is another hair oil that I will not be purchasing again, even though it was, I'm sure it had good things in it. This was at an Indian supply store, and this has not only coconut oil in it, but henna and some other Ayurvedic herbs. Has a nice scent to it, very light. However, it's not the kind that is edible. So if you want something that's edible, it's all-purpose, just get your straight coconut oil. And don't contaminate it, because then you won't be able to eat it. You'll only be able to use it to remove your makeup. Don't make my mistake on that. You might even have to, in the summertime, might be best to refrigerate your coconut oil, just so that you don't inadvertently get vegetative matter in it or something. Okay, this was a vitamin A cream that I got for legs, arms, even face. It's not oily. It's by a company called Dr. Daggett and D&D solutions.com. I don't want to squint and get more wrinkles. I really can't see the small letters. The reason why I stopped using it is because it has mineral oil in it, and I'm making a conscious decision, an effort to avoid mineral oil as much as possible. It's unnatural. It sits on the skin. I used to use it to take my makeup off and stuff, but you know what? I'd rather not mess with it. I can't help it that it's already in some products that I love, like some lipsticks and things, but I try to avoid it from now on. Okay, also on the hair category, this is Basic Texture Gel Shine by a brand called Back to Basics. It's a shine enhancing detangler, and as long as you don't use too much, it's really great when you get out of the shower, having shampooed and conditioned your hair, and your hair is really long like mine, and you want to detangle it. A little bit of this is nice. It's not as greasy as those oil sprays, but don't do too much of it. And I like that it didn't affect my color at all. And then it also helps to protect your hair when you blow dry it. So I don't know if I would get it again because I got it for $1 on a sale rack. So I'm funny like that. You might be, I don't know if they think it's kind of like drug dealers, that they give you the first hit for free and hope that you like it so much you pay full price. Well, you could give me something for free. I'm not going to come back and pay higher because I'm cheap like that. So on the hair things, also a company called Beauty For You Professional Hairspray. I got 2 strengths, the Max Hold and something that's either a little bit stronger or a little less strong. But I recommend them. They're cheap and they're good. Now, I had my luck to get some real Elnet last year, but unfortunately it was not the unscented. It was at a discount place, and I only paid $5.99 for it, which, if you know anything about Elnet, it runs for about $15, $16, and it's recommended by all the fashion magazines, and it's used in runways, and it's used by stylists, because it doesn't give you helmet hair, and you can actually touch your hair, and you can brush it, and you can style it, and it can fix your hair. However, if you get the scented version, the smell drove me absolutely crazy, and I will not get things. I would rather have things that are unscented than have something that has an obnoxious scent. And I thought the natural Elnet with the scent is absolutely obnoxious. So I would not get it again unless it was unscented and unless I could get it at a discount. From now on, other than that, I'm fine with either Aquanet or your 99-cent store hairsprays like I just showed you. Now, I will definitely repurchase again the No Ad SPF 30. I got this at dollar stores. These things, this is what I use in the wintertime when I'm not going out. I slather my face in it on my arms because my windows are exposed. Until it starts getting warmer, then I ramp it up to 50, 75, the highest I can get, and of course, depending on if I'm in the sun. But you have to, sunscreen is not a negotiable, especially if you're using retinols. You must use sunblock. And I have so many tubes of this already, but this is actually empty. And actually, I like to use the ones that only have a little bit left in them. They're great for traveling. Yeah, and security doesn't fuck with you when you're like at the Capitol or something. Okay, this was a foot product. It's called Stress Relief Foot Scrub by Bristol Carter. It has cocoa butter in it, and it has little pieces of the walnut shell ground up in it, kind of like the Apres face scrub, except there's not a whole lot of the shell fragments. And again, this has mineral oil in it. Once I found out that it had mineral oil in it, I stopped using it because I just don't want to do mineral oil anymore. So, and this was also a dollar store find. I won't be purchasing it again. All right, this was something back when I used to be an Avon lady, many moons ago. This was a dramatic firming cream from their Avon Solutions line, and I actually used it all the way up. It was not the kind of cream that has any kind of a greasy feel. It sinks in really nice. However, I'm suspecting it might very well possibly have mineral oil in it. I don't know. Please, if you find otherwise, don't call me a liar. I honestly don't know. If you see how tiny the letters are, I'm not going to go cross-eyed trying to read it. But because I'm using slightly higher-end stuff now, I'm probably not going to purchase it again. Plus, I have oily skin. I really don't use a lot of moisturizers except very targeted. Or maybe if the retinol and the retinate I'm about to get, if it starts to give me the peelies, and if it does dry me out, then I will use something more moisturizing. But I'm not going to be messing with those other things anymore. Here's another Avon product. This is an eye makeup remover, and it's not oily. It's called the Moisture Effective Eye Makeup Remover Lotion. It is an emulsion. It actually is not greasy like an oil, and the one thing I could say about it is that it really does take up your eye makeup, including your waterproof, and it doesn't give the oily residue on your eyeballs that every other oil does. So for that, it probably might even be better for contact lens wearers. I can't say that for absolute fact because I haven't had contact lenses in since before some of you were born, and I'm just walking around blind. So, but anyway, this is good stuff, but I don't know if it has mineral oil in it. If it does, then I wouldn't recommend it just because I don't do mineral oil anymore. I would just prefer having things with, if it has to have an oil, have an actual plant oil and a name that we can pronounce. All right, this is from a company called Yves Rocher. This is an eye cream called inositol. And one of the things I love about it, it's not real greasy, so it's not going to make your mascara do the raccoon eyes thing. And it also has some kind of a frosty pink iridescence to it. I think it has mica in it. So if you pat it underneath your eye like this, it actually, I believe those are light reflecting abilities that will possibly brighten the area and maybe even disguise the first little fine lines you get. I don't know. Don't hold me to it. I just like the iridescence. You can also use this as a very subtle cream highlighter. You could put in the corner of your eye or up at the brow bone. So I really like it, and I was sorry to see it run out. But interesting name. Don't know what it all means. And I don't know how much it costs because a friend of my mother's gave it to me like a couple years ago. But I thought it was good stuff. Now, this was a foundation I really, really loved that I'm sorry to see go. This is the True Match by L'Oreal, and this, as far as I know, is the very palest shade they have. It's called W1 Porcelain. I love it. It's not the one that I'm wearing right now. I'm actually wearing the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in their palest shade. But, and I may or may not have a description of the makeup I'm wearing in this. I don't know that I want to confuse you. Let me know if you want me to do a tutorial of the makeup look I have right now. It's actually using 2 different palettes, and I prefer, I don't think in my real life I use anything from any palette anytime I want, but I try to craft looks that only use one thing to make it easier for people if I'm going to make a video out of it. I just think it's easier for people who might have one palette and not have another, or might have a similar palette to the one, like maybe some of you people have high-end versions of the palettes that I'm using, and maybe you just say, oh, these colors look kind of similar to what she's using, and you follow along using your own stuff, which is cool. I think I recommend it. You know, I'm not going to be trotting out a $60 Chanel quad, and most of them I don't think are that attractive anyway. I hate to say it, you know, and you're paying up the... Okay, here's another foundation I wasn't thrilled with only because their lightest shade was too dark for me. But this was the CoverGirl Smoothers. It's supposed to be hydrating makeup. This was shade 710 Classic Ivory. It was too beige, too dark for me. If I could use it at all, it could only be in the summertime, and I would kind of shear it out some. You know, because you want to make sure that you go all the way down here. Otherwise, you've got this demarcation here, and it looks like you definitely, obviously, don't have the right matching makeup. Now, this is something I have to just tear the plastic out to show you. This was actually my very first primer, and this is by Wet n Wild, and this is Base de Tint Primer Coverall Primer. I don't know what it is with primers. They don't really do much for me. Maybe because I haven't found the right one yet, but I was concerned that it added yet another layer to my skincare. You figure you have heavy sunscreen, and then you put this on top of it, and then by the time I put my makeup on, I felt like when you have all these extra layers that are not your skincare, it just sips into your wrinkles, and then a couple hours later, and you don't realize this, and then you catch a look at yourself in the mirror, and all you see is wrinkles. I don't think that's a look that any of us is going for. So for that reason, I'm not thrilled with primers. I haven't found the right one, and I'm not really convinced that they are going to do, maybe they do a temporary thing that if you're using consistent skincare, you'll get more long-term results. I don't know, but anyway, I'm not going to get that again. And that was pretty cheap. That was like $2.99. I thought I had, okay, yeah, there's something else. This was a smaller size of the L'Oreal Micellar Cleansing Water. Now, there's 2 kinds of this. There is one that is for waterproof makeup, and there's another that is not, it's more like hypoallergenic, and I think there may be a 3rd kind. There are lots of versions of micellar water. People rave by them. I don't know. I use the double cleansing method myself. I really like to use an oil to take my waterproof makeup off, and sometimes I will treat myself to an oil all over. When I do use the coconut oil, here, let me take the hat off. I will use it all over, and sometimes you have to do it a couple of times and tissue it off again. The coconut oil has fatty acids that are good for the skin, and if you're using any high-performance skincare like the acids like Retin-A, sometimes your skin may dry out and you may appreciate a little bit of oil on your skin, but the thing with these oils is you really have to wash it off really well, because you don't want to have oil on your skin that will clog the high-performance skincare that you want to put on. If you're putting on your Retin-A's, your rose hip oil, your antioxidants, your vitamin C's especially, you want them to be able to penetrate the skin. And if you have an oil layer, they're not going to get on there. And you're spending a lot of money for this stuff, most of you. Most of you are spending 3 times what I'm spending on it, okay? So you want the stuff to penetrate the skin. Now, on that end, I think I might be getting one of those derma rollers soon, but I'm not going to be getting the 24-karat plated one that they sell for $200. I'm going to be, there's this company I discovered that if I make up my decision and I do order it, I'll tell you about it. But I'm thinking of getting one of those because they poke little holes in your face, and it makes your skincare absorb better. But you have to be very sanitary with them. Okay, I think this is everything I wanted to show you in my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you want to take a closer look at the tree here? Here, let me actually pull the cord out. Take a look at the decorations. here. And we got some packages dropped off. And oh, and the stockings here. We had a few other stockings through the years that I believe got too ragtaggy and they were taken to clothes heaven, which in my house means given an Air Force burial, which means thrown out. But since we have 2 kitties again, and the kitties always get stockings. My brother gets a stocking, I get a stocking, my mother gets a stocking, and any kitty gets a stocking because Christmas, you know, cats are family. Okay, well, if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, I would love to have you subscribe. I make content 3 times a week, and I'd love to have you join me along on my adventures. Till then, have a happy holiday season, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.